Hey, Bob for Bob's Movie Reviews here, and today we have Vincent with us, and we are reviewing for you Robocop 2014.
Indeed.
2014. For you guys on Blu-ray, just came out recently. If you missed it, we're actually giving away this copy. It's an unboxing video of this. You can either look it up on our channel, or I'll leave a link in the description. But in this video, we're giving away just the digital copy. Not from this one. This is like, you get everything in this, but my actual digital copy, giving that away with this. All you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment saying you would like to win. So, Robocop 2014, it's kind of like a reboot of the original Robocop. Now, I kind of thought about this for a little bit, because they're not the same. It's not like the same exact story.
Right.
I thought there was three main points in both that kind of transferred from the original. Detroit is crime infested.
Yeah.
Very dangerous place to live. It's pretty similar to real life.
Yeah.
Not a good place to live. There is a cop who is basically almost completely murdered and body almost rendered useless.
Yeah.
And C, I don't think I ever said 2 or B, but
No.
C now.
Yeah.
We're on C now, which would be the third bullet point of the presentation. He is then saved by turning him into a half robot, well, we won't say half.
Yes.
Hybrid human robot who fights crime.
Cyborg?
Cyberman.
Cyberman. It should have been called Cyberman.
But those are the main similarities. After that, there isn't a whole lot. I thought that was really... in the beginning, he has kind of that same silver look with the big pecs on the suit.
The black and silver, the classic look, which I love. And then they kind of streamline it and go to just plain black.
They wanted it more sleek.
I didn't really care for it. It was just too much of one color. It just looked kind of boring.
Yeah. It just looked like a piece of plastic covering his whole body.
Yeah.
It didn't look fancy or high-tech or anything.
The Dark Knight Rises suit meets Iron Man.
Yes.
Pretty much what it was.
That'd be pretty close. Yeah. So anyways, if you've seen the original, like you know our main bullet points so far, the same. If you haven't, basically, and they went a lot more into the company. OCP, is that it?
In the original it's OCP, and this one is Omnicorp.
Okay. But weren't they a part of
it's
OCP?
A sister company. Yeah.
I don't know why I keep thinking ICP, but I'm just trying not to screw them up here. But they went more into the company this time, because in the original there's it's not a lot about the company, and this was more about the company building these soldiers.
Yeah.
And so what's going on basically is they've developed, and they're not Robocops, they're full cyborg. Or are we calling them cyborgs? What are we calling them?
We just call them robots.
They're full-on robots. They've got the big ones, the big... You have 5 seconds to comply.
The enforcement droids, the Ed 209, it wasn't the original.
Okay, that you are much more knowledgeable than me. But they have those, and then they've got full on, almost like Terminator looking without the skin. They're just full robots that are basically human shaped.
Yeah.
They don't look like humans, but they're they got a head up here and shoulders and arms, and they're basically in other countries. Occupying them basically, and they're daily checking people to see if they're terrorists, checking them for weapons. And the thing is that human soldiers don't die anymore because the robots protect everybody. And so the kind of the moral that's going on is they're saying, well, are human lives really being protected by a robot who has no remorse, no guilt, no sense of right and wrong? It just kind of, should I kill? And they even go as far as a kid has a knife. Now, a human would know that's not really a threat.
Yeah. If
you have a gun and a kid has a knife, you're probably going to be able to stop him. But in a robot's eyes, it's a threat to take out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this movie goes. And so what they feel they need is what the people want, because of course they're already bazillionaires. They feel they need more money. They're like, well, we need to replace the police force in the United States, but they're all illegal in the United States, so they have to make a Robocop. and that's where the movie kind of loses it, because they don't technically even make what they're out to make. You go ahead. Go ahead with your turn now. That's kind of the middle of the movie, at least.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this movie, basically, since it's a reboot, tries to make it more relatable today. You know, we have our armed forces, you know, people dying every day. So it's more relatable in that way. The original came out in 1987. To be honest, I like that one a lot more than I did this one. This one's not bad at all. But like Bob said, everything after that part kind of loses a little bit. I didn't feel like there was more character development, but I felt it took away from the actual. I don't know. It was more, but it took away. It made it less at the same time.
I think one thing, like I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to. I think one thing that compared to this movie and the original is that technology has advanced so far that our current, other than the armor and stuff, our current soldiers are closer to the original Robocop already.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff this Robocop does, our soldiers could do themselves.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of like connected to the internet, and he can look through every video camera and everything. You could do that now.
Yeah.
He's not, other than the fact that, like, if you shoot him, he doesn't feel pain. Yeah. He's not that much more advanced than just every soldier out there, every cop out there.
A little more efficient, but
he can do it much more quickly.
Yeah, much more quickly. But other than that, Bob's right. You can basically just do everything today, like that. Just any regular soldier can do that.
So I feel like he's not as much of like back then. He's like, oh my god, he can like detect people's faces and you know, and now it's a lot less of a technological advance.
Yeah.
And so, without going too much into it, I feel like what they actually did to RoboCop was not what they were out to do. Was not what the people wanted. But then all of a sudden they don't care anymore. Was it like 83%, 78% of Americans didn't want robotic cops, but then they make one that has this part is human flesh, and they don't care anymore. Like, why do they keep the one hand? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. In the original, they made it. They actually said to cut it off because his body was now property of OCP. Which is funny in this one that they kept it. It's the exact same arm, but they kept it in this movie, which I thought was like a little throwback thing. But I don't. And
without giving it away, if you see this, it doesn't make any sense to keep it. It's pretty shocking, and I don't want to get into it exactly what happens.
It's to basically make him more humanizing, just so that people aren't freaked out and don't think he's full on robot, because they want something that's half human and half robot, so they think that he has a conscience and that he knows what's right from wrong. But.
Okay, so let's see. Is there any more to really talk about?
How about?
Well, his wife in the original, right? She thought he was dead.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And in this one, she agrees to this. So I thought that was kind of a little bit of a difference. Yeah. And the partner in this one was a man instead of a woman.
Instead of a woman.
Not real big of differences. No. Didn't really change the story any. Samuel L. Jackson, of course. It's like Samuel L. Jackson, Morgan Freeman, or Danny Trejo.
In every movie, no matter what.
We got one, Samuel L. Jackson, so it's a legit movie.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we score this?
Joel Kinnaman, he plays Alex Murphy / RoboCop. I thought he did an okay job.
I didn't love him as RoboCop.
Yeah, the original 1987 film had Peter Weller portraying RoboCop, Alex Murphy. And I thought that was much more interesting because he went from this like happy-go-lucky cop to complete robot, and then even after he found his more humanizing side, he still had that like kind of robot like cop feel to him. This one just kind of felt like he was just a regular guy the whole time. I didn't really feel any transformation was going on with him, and I was kind of left out in the cold with this one a little bit.
I don't know if you felt this way, but like every time I saw him. And they took off because in this one it's not a separate mask or anything. It's like just a visor that flips up and down. I kind of like expected to see the other guy's face.
Yeah,
because it's you know the other guy is RoboCop, so you're like it's not right. It's just not right.
Yeah, and we have Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman in this. the original Batman and Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. But they both do a good job. I enjoyed them both in the movie. I especially like Michael Keaton. It's good to see him back in movies again. It's nice. I mean, he's been in movies.
Need for Speed.
Movies.
So
Need for Speed. Back in good movies.
Oh, burn. The other guy, what's his name? The Commissioner Gordon.
Gary Oldman.
He's kind of the conscience of the movie, really.
Pretty much. Yeah. He does what Peter Weller did in the original as Robocop and Alex Murphy at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like they basically split the original Robocop into two different characters in this one, which is kind of weird.
So, as we both said, we both liked it. I don't think this is by far like a great movie. Definitely worth watching. And that kind of, we haven't discussed this at all, but kind of where you would score this, because I don't feel it would score as high as the original, and I probably wouldn't score the original extremely high. Shocking to you, I can see. So score on this one, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. I definitely think it's worth a watch. You might not want to buy it, and you don't need to buy it, because if you watch our unboxing video or you watch this video and you leave comments on both of them, you have 2 chances to just win it for free.
Plug much?
GoDaddy.com. We're not really affiliated with GoDaddy.com.
We're not, so don't worry.
Your turn.
My turn. Okay, I bought this movie when it came out on Blu-ray. I watched it, and I actually liked it better the second time I watched it at home, and I was like, wow, it's better than I remembered, but it's not as good as the original. Compared to Bob here, I would rate the original very highly, but this one I'm going to give a little bit higher, a 6.5.
6.5. So we're pretty close.
6.5, yeah.
Thanks, guys, for watching. If you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time.